I'm Jennifer Kubik with Friends of the Lost Coast, a working partner with Bureau of Land Management. Join me today in this collection of videos that follows water from the headwaters of the Mattole all the way to the Pacific Ocean and beyond. I hope you enjoy this journey, and I hope you're able to visit your own river, watch it flow, and imagine where that water has been and where it might go. Let's get going. Water is one of the most important elements for life. Without water, many living things would not survive. Most of the water on Earth is salt water in the oceans. If these pennies represented all the water on Earth, only one of them would be the fresh water we can use. Two more would be fresh water in glaciers. All the rest is salt water. All the water on Earth right now is the same water that has been here since before dinosaurs roamed the Earth. We'll look at the water cycle later on, but for now, we will look at the beginning of a river, the Mattole River on California's north coast. A river is much more than what we see from the river's edge. This is the Mattole headwaters, where the river starts. Small streams and creeks that spring up during the rainy and snowy weather join together. This feeds the river and makes it larger. A watershed is the entire area that feeds a single stream. All the water flowing together to make one river comes from that river's watershed. Everything in a watershed helps keep the river flowing. Many animals rely on a healthy river to survive. Fish, of course, and all sorts of water bugs. Scientists call them aquatic macroinvertebrates. The larger animals that live by the river rely on healthy fish and bugs for food. The land close to the river is called the riparian zone. Trees and plants that live in this riparian zone take their water from the river. In many ways, the forest gives back to the river to keep the watershed healthy and the river clean and cool. The trees make shade. Roots hold the soil in place. The fish in our Mattole River need cold water to survive. And so do we. Water is constantly moving unless it's temporarily frozen in glaciers or icebergs or ice cubes. This is the water cycle. The sun beats down on the surface of the earth. The sun's energy heats the water, turning it into vapor. This is evaporation, and you can even see the word vapor in it. Water vapor also rises from trees and plants. This is a special type of evaporation called transpiration. The pores of the leaves open up and let the water vapor escape. All this water vapor rises up into the atmosphere and forms clouds. The clouds collect more and more moisture, and become saturated. This is called condensation. When the water condenses and gets too heavy to stay aloft, it falls back to earth as rain, snow, or hail. These are examples of precipitation. Back on Earth, the water joins together into puddles, streams, rivers, and finally, oceans. Then, for every drop of water, it starts all over again. Water is constantly recycled by this natural system, the water cycle. All plants transpire, giving up some of their water to the air. Only a few plants can catch their water from the air. Redwood trees are one of the only plants that can absorb water directly through their leaves. Being close to the ocean along California's coast is necessary for redwoods. By absorbing the moisture that collects on their needles, redwoods are able to obtain about 1/4 of their yearly water needs. This is very important to their health during the long, dry summer and fall months. The hot, dry areas of Northern California are getting less and less fog, and that means less and less water for the redwoods. Coastal fog has decreased a lot over the last 100 years. Could this change in climate stress redwood trees to the point where they die back? How might climate change affect the future of redwood trees? Even when we are nowhere near a river, we can still make sure the rivers stay clean. This storm drain collects water from the streets and sends the water into large pipes. Trash gets carried along too. The pipes drain right into the river. If trash or pollution is put in the storm drain, there is nothing stopping it from going into the river and hurting the plants and animals that count on the river for their lives. Eventually, much of the trash and pollution, no matter where it starts, will wash down to the ocean. Putting all our trash where it belongs is one way to keep the river and the whole world more healthy. Look at the banks of a river. The trees and plants along the bank provide shade to keep the water cool. Plant roots stabilize the ground, keeping the dirt out of the water when it rains. This important area close to rivers is called the riparian zone. Trees and plants on riverbanks help keep the water clear and cool. Fish can't swim in thick mud or hot water. So enough cool, clear water in the river is important for their survival. There are many ways to determine the health of a river. It's not only how much water is running in it or how cold and clear the water is, but many other things tell the story as well. Are there places for fish to hide? Are there plenty of trees and shrubs lining the banks of the riparian zone to keep sunlight and silt at a minimum? And are there lots of bugs? Biologists call river bugs aquatic macroinvertebrates, and they are an excellent way to tell the health of a river or stream. Scientists look into streams to find certain bugs that will indicate the river's health. Some bugs, like these black flies, can live under almost any circumstances, while other bugs, like these stone flies, can only live in extremely clean and cold water. If a river has stonefly larvae in it, like this one, scientists can see that the river is healthy. Next time you visit your river, take a look. See what bugs you can find. We started at the headwaters, where the river starts. Now we've come to the end of the river where it meets the ocean. This is called the estuary, and it's a very important place for many plants and animals. The soil here is full of nutrients that help the plants to grow. The estuary is a relatively safe place for young animals. Many birds visit the estuary for feeding as they migrate from the north, where they raise their young in the summer. They stop by again as they fly south, heading for warmer winters. Much of the nutrients, the food for plants and animals, flows down the river all the way from the headwaters and into the estuary. Estuaries filter water and provide a home to many animals. Another name for an animal's home is habitat. If you live close to a river, you and all the animals living on that river share the same habitat. It is important that we respect the river from beginning to end, from the headwaters to the estuary and beyond, not only for our own health and well-being, but for the health of our planet.